Well. To my two viewers, wasn't that like a test match and a bit? It was a test. I think it was. It probably in the end you can say went exactly how it was expected to go. Both teams have better bowling attacks and batting, and both teams have very quite shaky batting lineups. And I think it's exactly what has happened here. Like Australia's top four failed to fire. I think, and West Indies bowlers bowled well. And Australia had to once again be saved from five down in the batting, and then the bowlers as well did the job. Um, Player of the match, Travis Head. Look, I don't mind that considering he was the only batter to really do stuff, particularly across both innings. I'm not even sure if another. I know Bo Webster did, got in double digits in both innings. Bo Webster did, but again, I'm not a fan of why we always give the man the player of the match in the winning side. It's just would be the best player, and it kind of annoys me to say because of external circumstances. But in saying that, innocent till guilty, but it's pretty damning. That's the last I'll. It's pretty confronting, I should say, not damning. But I think Shamar Joseph should have been man of the match for his 99 wickets and 44 runs. Considering apparently that's a top score for West Indies across both innings. Like, how many runs did he make in the first innings, actually? Okay, not much. He made 52 in total for the match, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that means he was top score for the West Indies this match. Anyway, so we'll get into the match. We'll talk about day three, and then we'll just go over the match as a whole. Travis Head once again proves to be Australia's saviour, and we do need him though. He seems to be at his best on when conditions are hard. He just seems to be at his best, and I go back to the 2023 World Cup final when Boomer and Shami had the ball moving sideways, and he's still fucking turned up. He is. And then you look at the India series where only two batters averaged over 40, him and Jaiswal, and he averaged like mid to high 50s when basically no one else could even get into the 30s. I think like one or two batters, I can't remember exactly, but only two people had above 40. Not sure if any had above 35, and he just keeps showing up. It's a shame because I feel like, when we don't almost need him to and the pitch isn't doing as much, he's just not as good. He just finds ways to go out. But again, was dropped on 30 here, made it, I think, 35, if I'm not mistaken, and made them pay. I wasn't awake for this part of the. I didn't watch any of the Australians live. Those were only seen on the highlights. Dismissal that got him out speaks to a bit of the pitch. He just one tunnelled. Not much I want to say. Can't really fault him for that. If you went forward to it, you probably edging that onto your pads. But that's not how he plays. He sees runs to be made through the leg side from that ball. Fair play. I think he played the right shot in the circumstances. Bo Webster, again, this innings I thought he looked terrific, actually. I'm back to, after a few iffy-ish looking ones, he looked good today. Dismissal was quite unlucky as well. Nicking one down the leg side, I wouldn't call unlucky, but it's not good bowling typically from Joseph. It's more luck on his end. Decent catch by Shea Hope as well, but from the gloves. Overall, I think Bo Webster's found himself at six. I can't see how he. I mean, obviously form matters, but I don't see under his current form how he doesn't play in the Ashes. Considering that every game he's played so far, he would probably be in the discussion for Australia's handful best players, which puts Cameron Green in a very precarious spot. Alex Carey, after a bit of a leanish run, has looked quite good here. He's always been a very attacking bat, and I think he looked quite good. The ball he went out on wasn't a great ball, but it was to a plan. It was to try to get him to, shoot out a wide one against a played it. And basically, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it went. I don't fault him for going for it, though. And then the towel contributed well, as it is. I think it's hard for us to find a towel that wags as hard as Australia all the way down to 11. Not saying that Hazelwood or Lyon are that good of batters, but they do a better job than I think most 10 or 11s in the world. I'll compare Hazelwood to Seals. Seals looked, the second that Lyon bowled him, looked hopeless. And you see when Australia come in, 6 for 208. And then before you know it, we've added 102 runs with the towel. And obviously Carey contributed a lot of that. The majority, I think, or at least half. But yeah, it's pretty damning overall for the bowling. I think Seals bowled. I mean, I don't know. It was okay. I thought Alzari and Shamar were the two best. Alzari could have taken a few more wickets had they held catches. So I think so good Shamar actually this innings. West Indies got atrocious for the game, like 11 drop chances, and that's just not going to be good enough to win you any game of cricket. Like if you're putting that with already a struggling batting lineup, if you are dropping that many chances, and particularly people talk about Justin Greaves being a good fielder, and he did at least two, and of if not three, and Ross and Chase the captain as well, dropping sitters and slips is just not good enough. But overall, the Windies bowling attack looks pretty good. Yeah, Shamar's a bit of a freak, which is again, I just can't stress enough how much of a shame what you're hearing is. Warwick, we probably haven't seen enough of this game to know what he's capable of because he does look a lot better, and like to be honest, that six looks good. Like that six is better than a lot of bowling lineups in the world. So the Windies at least have sorted their bowling out because even 3 years ago they didn't have a good bowling lineup. Like for the past decade, originally it was Shannon Gabriel, and then Kemar Roach ended up turning it around. But now they're starting to get 2 and 3 bowlers, which is what you want. Like you need partnerships, and this has that. Anyway, let's talk about the West Indies. So I did get up to watch this. I just woke up right after Craig Brathwaite went out, and yeah, I'm not sure Craig Brathwaite is that guy anymore. He has done a lot for this team, so I think he could play the series. I don't see why not, but I think his time is likely done. I'm curious, like what I want to see Craig Brathwaite's average, like why is Yahoo coming up? Yahoo, got to fix that. Um, yeah, if we look at his year-on-year stats, I'm very curious to see how he's been playing. What his averages are. Yeah, because I do remember kind of like this breath. I know some of those averages in there aren't great, but like in that time there was a bit of decency. So like 77, 55. But these past 3 years are pretty damning, and I don't think there's a reason they got rid of the captaincy from him in case they want to drop him. I think that time has came, and I know he has played well for the West Indies, and he stood by them when he. I know he's a slow bat, but he stood by them in the team and tried to keep the West Indies going over that really dark period from like 2015 to COVID, where this team wasn't like everyone wasn't playing. No one was playing for the West Indies. The second they get a player in test team, boom, straight off to franchise cricket. Like his brother, I think they're brothers, aren't they? I don't know. Well, Carlos Brathwaite, Jason Holder, even their captain, like Sharp originally, like a lot of players have left. And then you look at all the talent, real talent players like Pollard, Bravo, and like Russell, like the real talent players that should have been playing through the 2010s for them just didn't play. Sunil Narine, another one as well. But this current West, he's done a lot for this. So I'm trying to keep culture, but I just don't know if he's that guy anymore. John Campbell, I didn't think looked that good either. I think he does have a bit of a technical deficiency when it comes to driving the ball, and he was looking a bit off balance. But overall, I actually thought he was starting to produce a pretty competent innings until he decided to lap sweep Hazelwood. And the problem was that he did it successfully 2 overs before. Lap ramp, I don't know what you're really going to call it. It wasn't like I don't know. But when you're facing, in my opinion, the best bowler in the world on pitches that have a lot of activity, purely because he's so accurate and tall, to do that doesn't seem like, and considering where the game is poised, and you're actually starting, like West Indies at this point won for about 40, starting to poise, so like him and Cardi were building a partnership. I don't like it, and I don't like to tell players to not play a natural game. Like that shot's there in your arsenal, play it. But it to me just wasn't the right time. Like he should have been digging in a bit more for longer. Cardi, I like the look of though. I think he went out to a great ball from Hazelwood again, and this is the problem when Hazelwood bang 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 just ripped through them. It was who went out first? Yeah, it was John Campbell. Like yeah, I remember that ball was quite a good ball, but he's a weird player because his test average is under 20. However, and he's played 6 or 7 tests, which isn't great, but his one-day average is in the 50s. So I don't know if three might not be the right spot for him. He might be better off going like 5 or something, 5 or 6. but I would persist with him. I thought he actually looked pretty sound today. I wasn't too mad of how he batted at all. He gets to set like 3 might not be the right place for him, but I actually would. He's someone I would actually persist with in this team. Brandon King to me just doesn't look up to it. His first innings and this innings weren't great. Roston Chase, he's a decent bat. Again, maybe he opens weirdly. If you're a captain, there's a spot. Maybe you have to open instead of Braithwaite. I think he's a decent bat, but again, he's sort of like 5. Like a lot of these players are decent enough bats, but for their position they're in, I just don't know if they're good enough. So I hope I actually think, again, I only see 2 there, but good first innings and thought he got bowled by, bit of decency in Cummins there. Like he tried to dig in, and that's what you want at the end of the day. Justin Greaves as well impressed me a lot this innings. I thought he looked quite good. So yeah, not out, played sound. Admittedly, Bo Webster did have an LBW, if not for umpire's call, which I want to have a quick rant about. I might make another video separate to this as well about just outside off in general. But to me, I would love to know how DRS works. So from my understanding is that it doesn't actually check the impact of the ball at the player's pad. It checks the impact of the ball where it would be at the crease. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And to me, it doesn't make sense, regardless, either way, of why you would have umpires call for a line decision. As in, if some of the ball is touching, why are you not trusting technology to say that, okay, if some of the ball is touching off stump, I actually don't know the rules whether it needs to be half the ball or the whole ball. Oh, no, sorry, half the ball or any of the ball. And I think that to me, when you're doing a ball tracking technology, and if any of the ball is touching, if the rule says any, then there should be no umpire's call for this. It should be out or not out, based on if it's half the ball or any of the ball. In this case, it wasn't. It was like like 3/4 of the ball was hitting in line. If the rules state that at least half the ball needs to be hitting, then that's not out. That's fair. But I just don't understand how you can be having umpires call for ball tracking in this case, and that goes to like the leg side stuff as well. The towel was not great. I mean, Shamar Joseph again, like he just loves playing against Australia, doesn't he? As I said, I think he was player of the match. Overall, not great batting from the Windies. I mean, Azari tried, Warwick tried, Shields just didn't look good. But yeah, the bowling, I actually thought Stark bowled not great in this innings, probably the worst. It was more of the old Mitchell Stark, erratic. Because even the first innings, I thought Stark actually bowled very well. But they were a lot of his economy was I think higher than this, but I actually thought he bowled pretty well. This innings didn't look good to me, particularly second spell. He was missing his lines a lot, and that's the Stark that I don't like. And I feel like on this particular pitch, Scott Boland is better suited than Mitchell Stark because he will be hitting his spot every ball and making use of the pitch. Hazelwood, sensational. Not much more to say about him. Same with like Pat in general. I thought he bowled quite well. I'm surprised he wasn't bowling at the end and Shamar was going off, maybe trying to protect his average. No, I'm only kidding. Bo Webster, I thought bowled pretty well. Did get taken down his last over a bit, but should have probably had a wicket. Was unlucky also not to have kind of 2. I think I can't remember what else happened there. Anyway, he bowled well. I thought over across the whole game, but he's not a proper all rounder. He's more of a batting all rounder that can bowl. But again, his bowling is very handy. And Nathan Lyon, cleaned up the towel. I think it was people. I don't know. People at the time were not question the decision to bring Lyon on against Shamar Joseph. I think that's the perfect bowler to bowl against because Shamar was always going to take him on. So you put the catches out there, and he's going to try to go over them. And yeah, you may go for runs, but he actually sped up the game. He probably stopped it from going into tomorrow. Anyway, overall, big concerns for Australia. Big concerns for West Indies. Both these concerns were no going into it, and both of them were shown to be more on display in these games. Like, for example, like that 47 should have been a 6. That whole top order is struggling. I'll make another video about that shortly about what Australia should be doing for the rest of the series and then how we have to approach the Shield into the Ashes because more needs to be done with this team. And if they keep dishing this up, we're not going to be in for a good Ashes, unfortunately. Anyway, hope you guys have a good weekend and enjoying the cricket.